if Keanu Reeves, the most beloved man in Hollywood, played a character nobody liked? There's a new movie making waves right now, and critics can't stop arguing about it. Some are calling it one of the most daring Hollywood satires in years. Others say it almost works, but not quite. The movie is called Outcome. And if you want to know what all the noise is about, stick with me, because this one is genuinely fascinating. Let's start with the names behind this project, because they're the first reason Outcome caught everyone's attention. The director is Jonah Hill. Yes, that Jonah Hill. The guy who went from comedy breakout star to Oscar-nominated actor to now filmmaker with something very specific on his mind. Hill has always been someone who cares deeply about image, perception, and the way Hollywood shapes people. And with Outcome, he's pointed that lens directly at the machine itself. And then there's the lead, Keanu Reeves, an actor who, let's be honest, exists on a different level of public goodwill than almost anyone else alive right now. The internet loves Keanu Reeves. Real people love Keanu Reeves. He's been photographed giving up his subway seat, tipping crew members with hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own money, and carrying strangers' luggage through airports. He's practically a saint by Hollywood standards. So when Jonah Hill cast Keanu Reeves in a film about a morally complicated, possibly corrupt movie star who may have done something truly terrible, you have to ask yourself, is that casting genius, or is it the film's biggest problem? That question sits at the heart of everything Outcome is trying to do. It's a Hollywood satire, a dark, uncomfortable look at fame, image, and what happens when the carefully constructed wall between a celebrity's public persona and their private truth starts to crack. What is Outcome actually about? Here's the setup, and don't worry, we're keeping this spoiler light. Keanu Reeves plays a character named Reef Hawk. That's right, Reef Hawk. Even the name feels like a Hollywood invention. Reef is a legendary movie star, a man whose face has been on billboards for 30 years, whose name opens films worldwide, and who has spent decades carefully managing every single thing the public knows about him. But Reef hasn't been seen in years. He stepped away, or was pushed away, depending on who you ask, and now he's trying to come back. He wants a second act. He wants the lights and the cameras and the red carpets again. And for a brief, shining moment, it looks like he might just get that. Then the video surfaces. A mysterious piece of footage. The film never shows it to us in full, which is a smart choice, that threatens to end Reef's career before his comeback even begins. We don't know what's on it. We don't know who recorded it. We don't know who's sending it. But we know it's bad enough that Reef's high-powered entertainment lawyer goes pale when he hears about it. And that lawyer's advice? Go back. Retrace your steps. Find the people from your past, the ones you may have wronged, the ones you've drifted from, the ones who know you before the fame made you untouchable, and figure out who is behind this before it destroys you. So that's the engine of the film. Reef Hawk on a kind of personal archaeology mission, digging through the wreckage of his own history, one uncomfortable reunion at a time. And what he finds about those people and about himself is where Outcome gets interesting. Let's give credit where it's absolutely due, because Outcome does several things exceptionally well. First, the world Jonah Hill builds is absolutely precise in its fakeness. Every corner of Hollywood that appears in this film feels both deeply glamorous and utterly hollow at the same time. The parties look perfect and completely joyless. The agents speak in sentences that sound like affirmations but mean nothing. Even the way people smile at Reef feels transactional, like they're smiling at his fame, not at him. Hill clearly knows this world, and he's clearly uncomfortable with it, and that discomfort radiates through every scene. The satire is sharpest in those early scenes where Reef re-enters Hollywood society. There's a sequence at a studio party where everyone greets him like a long-lost friend, people who, it later becomes clear, actively worked to destroy his reputation years ago. Nobody mentions it. Nobody blinks. The smiles are enormous. It's deeply unsettling, and it's played completely straight, which makes it even more effective. The standout scenes in the film come during Reef's visits to people from his past. The most talked about involves his childhood manager, a man who discovered Reef when he was just a kid and shaped him into a product before he had any idea what was happening to him. Their conversation is the most honest the film ever gets, and for about 15 minutes, Outcome feels like exactly the kind of devastating Hollywood takedown it wants to be. There's also a sequence involving Reef's mother, a woman who gave everything to his career and received almost nothing in return, that carries real emotional weight. Reeves plays those scenes quietly, and that quietness works. You start to see something beneath the polished surface of Reef Hawk. Something small and ashamed and real. The film's central theme, that fame is essentially a transaction where you trade your authentic self for public adoration, is genuinely interesting. And Hill frames it with a visual language that is cold and considered, all sharp angles and sterile interiors. The Hollywood of Outcome is beautiful the way a museum is beautiful. Nobody lives there, but here's where we have to be honest, because the conversation around Outcome hasn't been entirely glowing, and the criticisms are real. The biggest problem is pace. This film runs under 90 minutes. That might sound like a feature, no bloat, no filler, but in practice, it means Outcome never fully slows down enough to let its ideas breathe. The satire is there, but it's sketched rather than drawn. You can see the outline of a genuinely sharp Hollywood indictment, but the film moves past its best moments before they can fully land. The mystery plot, the video, the hunt for whoever is behind it, ends up eating screen time that probably should have gone to character development. We spend scenes watching Reef piece together clues when what we actually want is more of those raw, unguarded conversations with the people who knew him before he was Reef Hawk the movie star. The screenplay also has a tendency to state its themes out loud when it would be more powerful to let us discover them through action. Characters tell Reef, and by extension, tell us what the film is about. Hollywood is fake. Fame costs you your humanity. The gap between the image and the person behind it is enormous and tragic. These are true things and interesting things, but we hear them said rather than feeling them hit.
And the ending, without saying what happens, feels like it arrives before the film has fully earned it. There are questions raised in the first act that simply don't receive satisfying answers. The mystery resolves, but Reef's internal journey feels slightly incomplete. Like the film knows where it wants to leave you emotionally, but ran out of runway to get you there properly. And then there is Keanu Reeves. Let's spend a moment here, because his performance is genuinely the most interesting thing to discuss about this entire film. Reef Hawk is supposed to be a man with darkness in him, a man who may have done genuinely harmful things, a man whose charm is calculated, whose kindness is a performance, whose warmth is a product that he switches on and off depending on who's watching. That's the role Jonah Hill wrote. And Keanu Reeves, to his enormous credit, tries very hard to play that man. He keeps his voice flat and unreadable in ways that feel genuinely unsettling. He holds eye contact a beat too long in some scenes, giving Reef an almost predatory stillness. In those moments with his manager and with his mother, he lets cracks appear, small flashes of guilt and shame that feel completely unperformed. It's careful, controlled work from an actor who gets unfairly underestimated. But here's the thing. Keanu Reeves is one of the most universally beloved human beings on the planet. And no matter how still he holds his face or how flat he keeps his voice, somewhere in the back of your mind, you're watching Keanu. You're watching the guy who stopped his car to help a stranded motorist. The guy who rides the subway. The guy who, by all accounts, is genuinely uncomplicated good. That creates a fascinating and slightly maddening tension at the center of Outcome. When the film asks you to believe that Reef Hawk might be capable of something truly damaging, that the mystery video could reveal something genuinely dark, the audience's affection for the real Keanu keeps softening the edges of that suspicion. You want to defend him. You want to tell yourself it can't be that bad. That's a human response to a very deliberate piece of casting. And you have to wonder whether Jonah Hill fully anticipated what he was taking on when he made that choice. Is it a mistake? Maybe. Or maybe it's the whole point. A comment on how fame functions as a kind of armor, protecting celebrities from accountability because we're all too emotionally invested in the image to look clearly at the person behind it. If that's the reading Hill intended, it's a clever one. It just works a little better as theory than it does as cinema. The script is structured across all 7 sections and ready to narrate or adapt. A few notes on the creative choices made. Casting as the central tension. The script leans into the Keanu Reeves paradox. His real-world reputation as the internet's most beloved person is treated as both the film's greatest asset and its deepest structural challenge. That gives reviewers something genuinely interesting to debate. Pacing for YouTube. Each section has a distinct energy shift. The hook is fast and punchy. The plot overview is suspense-driven. The criticism section is measured, and the finale slows into reflection. That rhythm keeps viewers through a 7 to 8 minute video. The almost great angle. Rather than landing as a pure pan or pure praise, the script frames outcome as a fascinating near miss, which tends to generate more comment section conversation than a simple thumbs up or down. Feel free to ask if you'd like the tone adjusted, any section expanded, or an intro/outro added for your specific channel format.